This is the Phoenix mind, where the fire refines, break the chains and rise to shine. Rise stronger, lead with heart, every end a brand new start. With Lisa Manzo, we transform, we ignite. This is the Phoenix mind.
Hi, I'm Lisa Manzo, and welcome to another episode of the Phoenix Mind podcast. And today, my special guest is Julie Cyvonne, and I'm going to read you her bio so you can learn all about her. Julie is a coach, facilitator, and mentor dedicated to helping women create lives they don't need to escape from. After leaving her career as an attorney, she discovered the power of psilocybin and recognized a missing piece: support with integration after the journey. Since then, she has guided over 300 people through mentorships, retreats, and group programs. Her work combines the science of psychedelics with grounded, practical tools for integration, so transformation isn't just a peak experience, but a sustainable shift you can integrate into your ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I am radically honest and deeply loving. I create an environment that makes the hard work feel safe and doable. Welcome, Julie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm super excited to have our conversation today.
Cool. So I want to know, to take like 2 more minutes and tell us about leaving your legal path and how you got to where you're, like, what was the breaking point or the turning point of the.
I honestly never, like as a child, wrote down in my journal, I want to be a lawyer. That is a whole other story in and of itself to how I sort of landed there. But it was something where I made a pros and cons list, and I was like, okay, so I'll be an attorney. I was a debate champ in high school. I liked to talk. I used to like to argue with people. I don't anymore. So I went to law school, and I don't regret going to law school. It is such a unique experience. You're never going to learn how to train your brain in that way other than in that environment. And I practiced for 3 years, but I never loved it. And I did different practice areas, and I thought, oh, maybe I just need to find the right practice area, right? Being a lawyer is a lot like being a doctor, where there's like, oh, you can be an orthopedic surgeon or you could be in oncology. It's like there's so many different things, and they are truly different. A contract lawyer has a lot different, day-to-day job than a public defender. So I tried different practice areas. That was not for me either. And I have this idea about life now, where I think we are all in the river of life, and maybe the river is God or the universe or who knows, whatever you align with, right? But the river wants to push you toward your highest evolution, like your highest path. And you can be a stubborn salmon and swim upstream, or a sticky starfish and like grip to the rock. And I was gripping, like I was holding on to this rock, and the river was like, come on, lady, the current is coming. And one day it just popped me off. And so there were a lot of really weird things that happened right after the pandemic hit. And I was listening to a podcast from a woman I'd listened to for a while. And she said, do you want to get certified to coach? And I was like, yes, that sounds good. Let's do that. And so this, at the time, I was still practicing. I was working with a wonderful nonprofit that supports survivors of human trafficking. So really, really heart wrenching, but also like fulfilling work. So I was pursued my coaching certification. I coached for about a year. I was coaching like high performers, like C-suite executive coaching. And then I was also running a nonprofit in LA, and one of our contacts in Colombia, he was an expat from the United States. He came back and we had dinner, and he goes, I would love to get your opinion on a company I'm investing in. Can we go check it out? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We go, and it's a microdosing company. And I was like, what is this? And so he said, well, here, I want you to try it. And I'm not one of those people who, like, someone finds a random pill in their purse and like, take it. I'm like, what are you giving me? So I went home and started researching. I pursued facilitation, and here we are.
So what's psilocybin, for those that don't know? And I'm one of those that don't know.
So psilocybin is the active compound in like what we call magic mushrooms. So magic mushrooms are a class of mushrooms called psilocybes. They're called psilocybes in reference to psilocybin, which is the compound that's present in those mushrooms that, yes, at larger doses will produce effects like hallucination, seeing things, really intense like feelings, but at a lower dose, it still promotes certain things in our brain that are really positive to help us make change.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting. So at low doses, it helps you. when you say it helps it make change, do you does it like get rid of people's fears? What does it do for them?
Oh, it's interesting that you bring up fear. So, when we are afraid of something, what's happening physiologically in our brain is all of the blood flow is rushing to our amygdala. Your amygdala is one of the oldest centers of your brain. It's where we have a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. And, the fear is signaling to that part like, hey, turn on, we're in danger, we need to do something, or have a response that's going to protect us. But so often our fear response gets triggered in situations that aren't actually life or death, right? Like we're no longer in prehistoric times where we are afraid of big predators are in our natural environment, or for most of us, thank God, we're not like in a war zone where we're getting attacked. So our amygdala turns on, but it doesn't like it has a disproportionate response to whatever threat we're perceiving. So what psychedelics can do, what happens in microdosing is the blood flow gets redirected away from our amygdala and into our prefrontal cortex, and that's where we make rational thought. That's where we have a grounded response. So when we can redirect that blood flow, we actually can respond to our fears in a more rational way.
So it just reconnects the caveman brain to the thinking brain, basically.
Yeah, I like to say we're at a really interesting time in human evolution where we're no longer cavemen afraid of saber-toothed tigers, but we haven't fully unlocked the potential of our brain as a supercomputer, which it is. And so we're
Right.
kind of hovering in the middle where sometimes we still have like non-adaptive responses and sometimes we have really cool innovation, but my goal is to help us move even further toward that supercomputer goal.
Oh, and that's awesome. So I have a question for you because, recently, I know about the fight, flight, or freeze response, and I've just started learning about the fawn response. And since I'm just in my beginning stage, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, a fawn response is I like to use relationship examples because I think they're so clear. But let's say your partner is mad at you, and maybe it's like a reason that you logically think like you have no reason to be mad at me. I didn't actually do anything. You had a bad day and you're taking it out on me. Instead of being able to like express some of these things calmly, hold a boundary, like, hey, I understand you had a bad day, but like I'm not going to take on your crappy attitude or you can't treat me this way because you had a bad day. What a fawn response is you go into like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm so sorry. Can I do something for you?" It's like it's like you're babying them, right? That's
I know
essentially what
that
a fawn response is.
I know that response. And I don't need to do that any longer because,
Good for you, Lisa. I love to hear that.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll come back later when you're feeling better. Is my response to somebody like that. Because you know what? I've learned I can't fix you.
Amen. Oh my God. I'm already so excited to be here. I love what you just said. Yes, you cannot fix anyone.
I can't fix you. I can only fix myself. I can guide you along your path. I can help you see things you're not seeing. But generally, it's up to you to make the change. Just like it was up to me to make my change, and Julie, it was up to you to make your change.
It's so interesting that you say that, Lisa. I was looking through text messages last night for this program that I run, that I'm running again, and I found this message from a woman, and she said, I just have so much peace because I realize I can't control anyone but myself, and it's taking me 54 years to learn that, but it feels really good to have it now.
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer to learn that, and that's okay. And I have it now. I feel the exact same way. I have it now. I'm good. And so I still have a job, right?
Mhm.
And I was at work the other day, and I had another nurse on the floor with me, and we started laughing because I said, the old me would have went and saved them, and the
Yeah.
new me is said, let me know if you need any help and how I can help you instead of saving them. I'm happy to help you and assist you. And I'm not going to do it for you. And the old me would have jumped right in and did it for them, and that's not good for anybody.
Lisa, I love this. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so you wrote to me and you said I a truth I learned the hard way is that sustainable change is slow and intentional. And I want to talk about this because people think they're going to have this
Oh my God.
transformational moment and everything is going to shift instantaneously and they're going to be a completely new person
Yes.
right because that but that's not how it happens.
No.
It's steady slow process that you do. And I can tell you from my own experience that people who met me 6 years ago and know me now, they're like, oh my God, I don't recognize you because your energy is lighter, you're so much happier, and I am. And And that's because I did the work. I just kept going. I didn't look back because I knew where I was. When I look back, I didn't want to go back there. So I just kept looking forward, and the question I would ask is, what else can I do?
Mm. Yeah, it's so true. People like especially after so I do most of my work is microdosing, right? But I also facilitate larger guided journeys, like a full trip for people who want to have it in an intentional way. And during those experiences, people have so many breakthroughs and so much clarity around like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. This is how my life gets to look. This is what I'm going to do." And it feels really like you feel so empowered in the retreat space, right? And so we have this whole exercise we go through about integration. And I always tell people, okay, like you wrote down everything that you got out of this trip. Like we're so clear on like what we're doing, what we're like doubling down on, what we're leaving. Here's the thing though, we're just picking one thing off that list and you're going to commit to it because it is a snowball and people think like it's New Year's Day, right? Oh, I'm going to sign up for a gym. I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm going to throw out all my Cheetos. I'm going to do the whole 30 or whatever. And it lasts like maybe a day. And then they get so down on themselves. It's like because you try to go from like 0 to 100 in no time at all. And it is like it's a progression. And so I really having that like awareness that it does take time. And I like to say like 51% of the time is my goal, not to be perfect or not to like be living 100% in the breakthrough, but just to notice like 51% of the time, maybe I'm more responsive than reactive. 51% of the time, I'm going for that walk after my meal instead of like turning on Netflix. It's these little things that build our confidence and our self-trust and ultimately lead to the big change. Like you said, where 6 years ago, that Lisa is totally different than this Lisa.
Oh, absolutely. I'm completely different person, which is wonderful. And so you do retreats for is it for women? Is it for men? Tell me about that. That's interesting.
My retreats are women only, and I work with men, but I work with men privately. And the reason my retreats are women only is a lot of women have sexual trauma as a result of men, and they're able to work through it at my retreats. But throwing a man into that environment, even though I'm sure the man is so nice, right, is a great person,
Yeah.
it's a lot harder. It's harder for women to speak about certain things with a man present. And so many of the women who have come to my retreat specifically said, I came to yours because you cultivate spaces for women only. And I like it that way, and they like it that way, and it's going to continue.
I know I feel like the some retreats should be just for women, some should be just for men, and some if you want both, they're out there too. It's whatever you want, whatever floats your boat, right? That's how the saying goes.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
And I love like tell me I don't know this is so interesting to me with the psilocybin. It's like, I have to go in to do the deep dive after we get off the phone call.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me something what's one of your biggest rise from the ashes moments in your life that you've transformed from?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I feel like there are so many. Okay. What's one? I really had an amazing partner in undergrad. He was such a great guy, so kind, but his family and I did not get along, and it caused a lot of stress. And I already had a lot of undiagnosed mental health issues. My dad died when I was little. And in my family, we didn't really talk about feelings, and my mom never put us in therapy. And, you know, I thought that unless you were contemplating like ending your life, that you weren't depressed. Like I had a lot of misconceived ideas about mental health. So I actually had been struggling with anxiety, depression. I had really intense dissociation, but I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. Like every time it happens, but I didn't know the word for it. And I also had panic attacks. And so I started really having panic attacks in undergrad with this guy because of his family, not because of him. He was amazing. But I graduated undergrad in 3 years. I got a full ride to law school, and I had been really codependent with this man, and I broke up with him before I went into law school. I was like, you still have another year of undergrad. I don't like your family doesn't like me, like this isn't working. But I went to law school and I was totally like unused to being alone. I had just spent so much time being codependent in this relationship. And I mean, it was rough at first. Like I thought I tried to get him back because I was like, "Oh, that will make me feel better." And he was like, "Look, we broke up for a reason." And I really just had to like find my own 2 feet. I read the book Codependent No More. It was really hard to sit there and like do this work. But it was also really important. And I found my own like frame, like my own energetic lighthouse, and I was able to be my own person. And I'm really happy that I've broken that cycle of codependency for me in relationships.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned dissociation, right? And that's
Hmm.
basically when you're in your own head and you're just checking out to what's involved in your life and you're just going through the motions and you're not really present, right? So how did you break that habit of dissociating? Because that's interesting.
So my dissociation was really what would happen was almost like it almost felt like a movie where like I can remember this happening one time when I was little at camp, and right, and we're sitting like supposed to be listening to our camp counselor, and it was like I would start to zoom out. So I would like be listening to the camp counselor, and then inside I would start to zoom in, and then I would feel like I was in a body that like I wasn't actually having that experience. Like I wasn't looking through my own eyes, someone else was looking through those eyes. I wasn't in control of what was happening. Like I almost felt like I was trapped in a body that I was not in control of. And I would feel myself, then it would be really small inside my body. And it would scare me so much. I was like, this is crazy. I'm losing my mind. And honestly, the last time it happened, I was still an attorney. Thankfully, my friend was driving, but I was in the passenger seat and I felt it start to happen and I start to go back in my body. And the thing that allowed me to like get out of this once and for all was the somatic work that I've done. It was breath work. It was really getting into my yoga and meditation practice, like through body scans. I was dissociating because didn't have safety in my body to process feelings. And I could only cultivate that safety by creating more connection and awareness within my body. So then it would be safe to process. So luckily, I haven't dissociated in like, I don't know, 8 years. Thank
That's
God.
fantastic.
But it was really scary when it would happen.
That's funny. So I wrote about it in a book. I wrote a chapter in a book about dissociating. And so as a child, my mom liked to yell. And when she would yell, I would dissociate. I never heard a word she said. Like never heard a word she said when she would yell at me, and this person was yelling at me, and he's yelling at me, and I'm saying, "Stay here, stay here, stay here," and I'm ordering my brain to stay present because I feel myself pulling back, and he's so angry, and he's angry at me for something he did, and I didn't have enough. I don't know what the word is. Like it was, I wasn't able to speak my mind at that point. And we were in a position where he was in a position of power, and he would never have left me where we were. We were out camping because there was too many people around, but I had that fear, because you piss off the boss, it's going to be a problem. So I didn't actually say what I wanted to say to him because he created the mess. I was part of it, yeah, and I do have a role in it, but he created the mess. He created the mess because he didn't tell me. I've never been camping before. And he really, and I Googled what I should pack. And then I talked to my son, who's a Marine. And he said, Mom, if you do anything, just bring extra socks. I brought 10 pairs of socks for 2 days, and I wore every single pair because it rained and my feet were always wet and I was always changing them. And that was the best piece of advice I got. But the person who was doing it was saying, figure it out, figure it out. Well, I didn't figure it out. So then all my clothes are wet. I'm freezing. And now we have a problem, right? Because I'm freezing and I don't have any more dry clothes because we hung them out to dry and it rained that night. So, you know, and I wanted to say I have a role in this. Yeah. And yes, so do you. And you're screaming at me because of something that you did. And I'm like, stay present, stay present. And I was really proud of myself because I don't know what I said to him, but I said something that made him walk away. And I have no idea what I said to him because I did dissociate to some level. And that was my first time that I didn't completely dissociate, and and that's when I first learned how to control it. Just have to start telling myself, stay here. And then I start with my fingers so I could feel my fingers because that helps me stay present. So that was so interesting because I people don't really talk about dissociation. So thank you for bringing it up. It's a great conversation.
Yeah, that's really amazing that you were able to like ground yourself in that moment.
Yeah. I learned that from a program I did. I love programs. And he's just like feel the ridges on your fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just do that and it works wonders because it keeps you there instead of going to la la land, as I like to call it. So what is a truth you had to learn the hard way?
Oh, wow. What wasn't a truth? I had to live. Okay. You can't make other people happy. And when I say that, I mean you can't like live your life to make other people happy because that's truly what I was doing for the first however many years of my life. And it left me deeply unhappy and unsatisfied and anxious and depressed. And so I really had to, sit down and think about what is important to me. What are my values? What do I actually want for life from life and like shape my life that way. But at the end of the day, everything is an inside job, right? My happiness is an inside job. My anger is an inside job. Like every emotion that I have, I am responsible for cultivating. And the same goes for every single other human being. So of course, like treat people with respect and kindness and love. And if someone isn't treating you that way, like you fawning over them, tie it back to the beginning, isn't going to suddenly make them happy because the reason they're being a jerk to you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them and probably their childhood and their parents and all the way back to that. And they got to figure it out, but you got to figure you out. So, choose your own happiness, cultivate your own happiness, and surround yourself with people who also want to see you happy.
I love it. Okay, so tell me something. Is there a part of your story you rarely get to talk about and you'd like to talk about now?
Ooh, one thing I don't talk about a lot, and it's something that I think is just a result of like looking back. I used to like lie a lot in really sneaky ways, and I don't think I was like a pathological liar, and I'm not even sure what the pathology of like pathological liars is, but I think at the end of the day, I was performing. I was a big chameleon, and I was always trying to be who I thought someone wanted me to be, and I would like say things that I thought people wanted me to say in order to like gain love and acceptance. It was kind of like a fawn response. But it's interesting, like I don't anymore, and I honestly could not be bothered to. Like I'm so direct. I'm not mean, but I am very direct, and I just say what I think, and I say it neutrally. But it's really interesting. Like I used to. It's a complete 180 on how I used to be.
Well, that's great. That's great. And so what else did I want to ask you? Hmm. So I love when people come on and tell their story. So tell me about a client success that you had that really touched your heart.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe because I was thinking about her and I referenced a text message she sent me, but this woman had really been struggling with depression for I would say like her whole adulthood. I think she's 54 now, like I said in the messages. And nothing was really would work for her. She had done medication, but didn't like the medication, how it made her feel and the side effects. She'd gone to therapy. And I mean, it really impacted her life. It impacted her relationship with her kids. Like it was big, right? And she had wanted to try microdosing for some time, and so she signed up for this program. I'm getting ready to run again a live round, but she signed up for like the DIY version. It's a guided microdosing program where every day for a month you receive a text, and it's about habit stacking, kind of like we talked about slow and sustainable habits, not like 75 days hard or anything. So she was microdosing, she was doing the program, and then I checked in with her afterwards. I was like, "Hey, like I just wanted to see how are you doing? What's going on?" And she sent me all these messages about like, "Thank you. Like one of the big things she said was like, I'm sleeping so much better. Like I used to really struggle with nightmares and waking up on and off throughout the night. And she said, I went to the doctor and the doctor walked in and she said, oh my God, you look so good. Like your energy seems great. You seem so happy. What's going on? I told her about microdosing and she was so thrilled for me. You know, obviously a lot of doctors in different locations can't like outwardly recommend it. But she's like, I'm so happy that you found it and that you're doing it. She sent me that message about like, I can't control anyone. The only person I can control is myself. And I actually decided to stop going to therapy because I felt like every single week was just rehashing stuff from the past and I wasn't making any progress moving forward. And so it's stories like these where like she had tried everything for depression and nothing had worked for her. And she found microdosing and it finally worked. She finally got relief and the relief lasted. And to me, that is the most important thing.
No, that's awesome. So, Julie, I have two more questions for you. When somebody wants to learn more from you, how can they do that?
Yeah, I think one of the easiest ways is, I have a quick quiz you can take. It takes like less than 2 minutes. You can find me on Instagram. It's just Julie Cyvonne, my name here on the podcast. Absolutely no spaces or periods, just Julie Cyvonne. And you can DM me the word journey and the quiz will come right up for you. So just DM me the word journey and you'll find out whether or not microdosing is a good fit for you. But same thing if you want to ask me a question or anything on Instagram, I'm there. I answer all of my own messages and I would love to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. And then, so just one piece of advice for my audience, if they're struggling and they need some help to keep going, what would you tell them?
When I'm like in a tough time, when I'm in it, I always remind myself change is the only constant. Like change is the only thing that's certain besides death in this world. And so, when you're in a tough time, like there will be a different emotion. There will be a new day, like things will shift. And just to remember that, because sometimes when it's like a dark time, it can feel like this is the only thing you're ever going to experience. But I promise there are other things available to you. And like there is something that's going to work for you, whether or not like you're interested in microdosing or want that. I promise. I know that you have your own like secret sauce and maybe you just haven't discovered it yet, but it is out there and there is going to be a thing that really works to like shift you and help you feel better.
That's awesome. Keep going until you find what's going to work for you. Is that what you're trying to say, Julie?
Yeah, keep going.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much, Lisa. This was a great conversation.
Great. And I'm Lisa Manzo, your host, and I'll see you on the next episode.
This is the Phoenix Mind, where the fire refines. Together we rise, transform our lives. So subscribe, share the flame.